Alright, so what's up everybody? I'm making this video today for those of you who are interested in picking up R Venom and are coming from R Venom. I made that transition. I've been making that transition actually for about the last year and a half, 2 years now. It's to start playing R again. And I do simultaneously play him in both, so I do main him in both games, and I still play both games as actively as I can. But obviously the COVID times it's not really all that active, but when it was offline I was going to a lot of things from both. So I think I'm probably the most qualified person to be able to say all these things that are different and really be able to present them in a good way. So if you got any questions, let me know. Or you can save it to the end when I'm done with everything. That might take a while to finish everything, given how long it takes me to go through all this stuff. But just let me know if you got any questions about stuff. Just as a note, I'm not going to be really going over frame data a ton. Mostly because a lot of the frame data is kind of mostly the same. On stuff that's different, I'll obviously note it. But stuff that's excuse me. Like JH, for example, is almost identical in frame data, so I'm not going to go over it. There's maybe one or two recovery frame rate difference, and that's not really important. If you want to look up all that stuff that's different, as far as frame data and hitboxes go, you can look up in the wiki. If you just type on the Google or whatever search bar you use, ACPR Venom Wiki, it'll be the first link, and everything will be showing right there. What else? Oh yeah, and also as far as ball formations go, I'll go over them a little bit when I get to the ball sets. I'm not gonna go super into detail about all the ball formations, because again, it's just on the wiki and you can look it up on yourself. I'll give a basic overview of it. All right. So to start, we're gonna go over his movement. It's pretty much the same as Exerd. He's pretty basic movement. Good backdash, has good invul on it. Fast. Run is the same. Jump, double jump is the same. ID is the same. The only thing that's significantly different in this game is not Venom specific. I don't know if I'll be able to recreate it or not. Oh, Hoss is small too. Let me pick a different character. Off to a banger of a start. Or it is shit. Oops. Alright, we'll try to show a chip if we can. So there's a thing about this game where if you run underneath the opponent, you kind of just stop. If you're not ordinary run with momentum. Let's just do that. I don't know if I'll be able to do it right. Yeah, I figured this out. Oh no, I stopped. So there's ways, if you're not already in the run strat all the way, it's kind of bad showing. I'm not gonna go showing off. It's kind of situational, but you don't always get the full momentum underneath. You're not gonna always get that. I don't know what causes it to have you stop or have you go. Right now, I'm just getting it flawlessly, no problem. But in matches, I've definitely had it where I'll run, I'll just stop right there because it doesn't let me go. Not sure what causes that. It's definitely a thing in this game and across the board. And Xer is not like that. They fixed it. And again, I really don't know what causes it, but it'll cause you to lose charge as well, because that's a big thing with Venom in particular. As far as it's a big thing for charge characters, but especially Venom because he has a really good sonic boom. So if you go like that and you want to do that, or you want to do Carcass or something, you will tend to stop right underneath the opponent. So this has been a poor demo of that because I've gotten it every single time, but that is 100% a thing that happens and something you should be aware of. But other than that, his movement is kind of the same. Not kind of the same, it's really exactly the same. No real difference. So that's movement. Next we're going to move on to our normals. Now I'm going to go over all the basic normals of the character, going from each button across the rainbow. So 5P, same as it always is. No difference, except, well, that's not really a 5P problem. It is prone to whiff more in this game because of the characters tend to have weirder hurt boxes. But that's not because of 5P, that's because of the characters. So this is not 5P being different, it's just the characters being different. But still same uses. You're going to use the same way you ever do. It's good old 5P. 2P is not jump canceling in this game. So let me teach characters again. Please select your character. The main difference with 2P is not jump cancel. So that, you can jump cancel no problem. 2P, you can't jump cancel. Other than that, it's the same. Still hits balls. Still hits balls at the normal velocity it always will. You can like block string into it. If I can get it. Oh, whatever. You can block string into it, and all the Gatlings are the same. So none of that has changed. Only difference is you can't jump cancel it. JP is the same. You can't jump cancel it either. And you see I was trying to input it there, but I couldn't get it. So yeah, you can't jump cancel that either, but otherwise it's the same. Hit the balls, same velocity as it will in Xrd. No real difference other than jump cancel. 6P is the big difference right here in this game. Animation is the same. Oops. Animation is the same, but there's a lot of other differences with this. So in Xrd it's 7 frames. Xrd's a god button. In this game it's just a good button. Let's see if I can get it. There we go. So this move is 9 frames instead of 7. And the hitbox, if you guys can, let me make sure you guys can see it. So in Xrd, the hitbox kind of extends out to like where this is, sort of. And plus R, it's like more on the pool cue. So it's not like that OD extended range of the hitbox. It's more normal. It's still a really good hitbox though. It's not like it's bad. It's just not really, really, really good. So that's one thing about it. Let me change this real quick. Another thing about it, it's not jump cancelable. It's grounded hit. If you guys have been playing since like Xrd Sign Venom, it's basically that old 6P. 9 frame, not jump cancelable, but you still like Gatling and stuff. Gatling 5K or 5H. Another thing about it is it does not Gatling at the 6H. That Gatling was taken out from AC to plus R, and they gave it back to him in Xrd. But in this game, he only can go 6P, 5H. He can't go into 6H, which really sucks. Because despite the auto-piloting 6P, 6H to try to get like the anti-airs, you can't do like the 6P into 6H to get like the pressure going. To get like a better ball set. So that's like a more unfortunate change that they made. And the way you combo off of it is like depending on range, you might not get a lot off of it. So let's see. Let's just do that. So if you're like at farther range with Venom, how about this right? Like that's about all you can get. Because like that won't combo from how far the range is out. On counter hit, it'll knock down, I believe. So that's good. You can get that on counter hit at least. Now work up your range and any range. Almost knocked down, so not quite. But it is capable of doing that on counter hit. Whereas normally you really don't get much of it off that range. When you're closer, you can get DBC combo. That's pretty reliable across the class as long as you're close enough and then they're not high enough. See if I can get a high one on him. So like that was too high, and that's not going to combo. So it's still not the right choice necessarily if you get a high 6P. But in going for it, you don't really risk a whole lot. Even if they forward tech and try to catch you doing that, if they think you're going to do it, you'll probably recover in time to block. So it's not the worst option. Actually, let me record him double jumping because Haas's jump is really short. If you're close though, you can get the close slash. Oops. You can get a close slash in doing whatever. An easy combo to do from close slash. It's just that. And JH will always knock down in this game. I'll get to that later. But that's a reliable combo to do across the cast. Any double jump combo ending in JH. If you're feeling really spicy, do something like that. I missed the micro dash, but if you're really scouting it out and you want to get the most out of it, that's something that you can do to get a lot of damage out of it. Those are pretty much more or less the options out of 6P if you get a hit. Either like 6P ball set, 6P DBC for close enough, or 6P close slash into whatever. You can do 6K, or jump cancel into whatever air combo. Those are the things you can really do out of 6P in this game. It's definitely a big step down from Exert, but all in all, it's still a good 6P. The only other detriment to it in this game is just that air buttons are... Characters that tend to have a lot better air-to-ground buttons in this game than in Exert. Like that fucking button. Of course I'm not going to be able to get in line. You get stuffed a lot if the button is really good. So that happens a lot more in this game than it would in Exert. But again, it's still a good 6P. It's still reliable. You just don't get as much off of it, and it's not like super crazy. Alright, so that's all the P buttons. Let's move on to the K buttons. 5K is the same. No difference there. 2K is the same. No difference there. JK is also the same. No different. All those there's normal K buttons, excuse me, are pretty much the same as an Exert. Not a whole lot different. The only difference is now you have 6K, which is this big button. This used to be the, what was it? The AC 6P. So you used to have this. It was faster and it was gathering in a 6H. So if you've ever seen AC videos, when you see Venom's doing 6P and 6H, it was because of this button. This is not really a good anti-air. This is pretty slow. I think it's like 16 frames or something, startup. So you're not really going to be using it as anti-air. It's going to be mostly for combo filler. Yeah, no problem, Slush. It's pretty much exclusively for combo filler. Do that into doing whatever. You can, you could, if you want to, like hit the balls in the angle like that. To kind of maybe catch something. But that's also not like super useful in that sense because, again, it's a really slow startup move. So 6K pretty much just combo filler. You go to the start combos. Alright, that whiffs on Haas, I forgot, but you can do that to kind of start combos if they're on stun. Do 6K, 5H, and like DBC or something, and that'll work out. So that's this K normals. Mostly the same, other than 6K, which is mostly just used for combos. Alright, next up, we're going to do Close Slash. Let me set this boy to crouching again. Where is it? That's not right. There we go. Alright, so next up, slash buttons. We're going to start with Close Slash. This is what Close Slash looks like in this game. Same function. 3 hits. Except in this game, the third hit will always hit crouching if you're close enough. So you're point blank, you're going to always get that third hit until you can do combos like that. Or into 6K, into whatever. And that'll always work, if you're close enough. For some characters, it will whiff at farther ranges. It's like Haas is a perfect example of that, where if you're farther out, that third hit will whiff. So that's something you gotta keep in mind with Venom in this game, is that while when you're close, you will get that third hit. If you're far enough for some characters, it'll whiff pretty easily. In some instances, you might even get just one hit of Close Slash, which I've definitely had happen before, and I was like flabbergasted that it could happen, but it can happen. Otherwise, you're gonna use it as the same. Let me put on blocking. Card on. Otherwise, same kind of thing. You can use it for all your block strings. You can your main pressure too. Missing stingers, but otherwise you're gonna use it the same way. Next up, the rest of his slash normals are all pretty much the same. I think maybe Far Slash has a slightly better hitbox. Yeah, I think it does. I didn't. On Dust Loop, it used to have the hitboxes on it, but I think like when Dust Loop got all messed up, and then you read everything, and the hitboxes went away. I think the ACPR had hitboxes on it, but I can't go check. Far Slash and Exert, that tip will like whiff more, because like let's see if I can get it. Around like this part of the hitbox is nothing there. It's just nothing. The hitbox starts in like here, goes to like there. In this game, it is at the tip, so it's a little more extension on that. So you do get a little more out of, you get a little more range out of that. 2S same, 6 frames. Your mashing button. This is your footsie button where like you think you're good because you are. Don't let anyone tell you you're not good for mashing 6 for 2S. Yeah, JS also the same. So other than close slash being a little bit different, all the slash buttons are really the same. Just remember, this is a really important difference. Both being able to hit 3 hits on crouching opponents when you're close, and also it potentially whiffing. So that's S. Moving on to H. All those H ones, we're going to start with 5H. It causes stagger on hit. So in this game, it's a level 5 move, and the upstairs is a level 4 move. And if you're in range, it'll pretty much always combo into DBC. But if you're a little farther, if you're too far, it could whiff on some characters. Like there, that wasn't a true combo. Let me see if I can get the Stinger. S Stinger will also be like that, where it doesn't combo on like more farther ranges. Like that, it won't combo. H Stinger always will combo though. So if you know you're farther away and trying to get a combo off of 5H, H Stinger FRC is probably the way to go. I'll get into FRC stuff later. But in general, you're probably not going to be that far anyway. Like you're going to be at that range and you're going to be able to usually get a DBC out of it, if nothing else. Into whatever mix-up. Is it difficult transitioning between games for you? It was at first, but I got used to it. Again, Venom in this game, he doesn't operate all that differently for Xrd, so for me, it's not all that bad. Because his neutral game is more or less the same, it's just like the differences I'm going over now. For other people, depending on the character, it might be bad though. Like Baiken, for example, probably a big difference that you're trying to juggle her in those games. Even though she's really different in both these games, she also has that same property to her. So some people might find that difficult. The most difficult thing about Venom is the ball sets, the different ball sets. I was going over that a little bit before I started going into everything, but all the ball sets are like more or less in the same place. But like once you start doing 2 sets, then that's where things start getting different. Like this is normal PK, whereas in Xrd, it's that. Does close slash starter change combo routes for crouching, or will it work? It should work just fine. I'm not sure what you mean. If it's like you do 2K close slash instead of just close slash, the only difference is if you go straight into close slash, you get more damage out of it. So if I do 2K into that, it gets 51 damage. Why would you do that? It's 75 damage, for example. So as far as combo ability, no. It just depends on range and proration pretty much. But where was I? Oh yeah. So 5H, staggers on hit, level 5 move. The stagger on hit isn't like all that impactful, I guess. They're never really going to shake out of it. I think that's like I have it on a pretty fast shake and you can always get a combo out of it. So you don't have to really worry about that. Let's go for combo filler, block string, same kind of application as the Xrd. Next one is 2H. So if you just played Rev 2 Venom, then you have never seen this button. But this was a 2H before they changed it to the low hitting one. So you played Venom before Rev 2, before they changed the animation, it's the old 2H. So there's a few key differences in that. One, it's a lot more prone to whiffing the second hit, as you can see. It has the same kind of problem as close slash, where if you're not close enough, that second hit will whiff often, and depending on the character, it might just whiff completely. So like on Faust, for example, this like just almost always whiffs Zappa 2. So for block strings, it's a little bit more inconsistent to use, which is a shame because that's like your primary use of it, as it is in Xrd. So that's something to really be aware of with this button. Like you're still gonna want to do like that kind of stuff, and it still works. You just gotta know, you gotta be more aware of like how your opponent's hurt box is, whether you can do stuff like that. Can't choose like anti-air? Yeah, I'm gonna get to that right now. Let me just get some water. Yeah, so that's the block string aspect of it. Let's see. It can be used as an anti-air in this game though. A situational one. And not entirely great one. Let me... Oops. So you can use it as a situational anti-air to cover, like, I guess that's really specific sort of range. You're not going to do it all that often, to be honest. Like, you can build, like, the range into your mind, into your autopilot, so you, like, get a better awareness of it. But to really get anything off of it, you have to, like, already be kind of committing. Let me do it slower. So I get to kind of already be charging if you want to do like a Carcass Raid after it. I don't know if you can get DBC after it. Maybe if you're a little closer. No, even getting DBC is not really reliable. So you can use this as an anti-air and just doing whatever you can get off of that, but it's not super reliable to do. And really, it's going to be more of like a single hit thing than anything else. Like you can get that. Probably you can get that most often. Seems like it knocks down at least, so that's good. Maybe just the first hit. Alright, I didn't know that. So if you cancel the first hit and you do a boss hit, it seems like a knockdown. So at least you can get that off it, but really situational anti-air, so it's not something you're going to be using a whole lot. So yeah, that's 2H. What's up next? 6H is next. The button itself is pretty much the same. Again, the big difference is you can't Gatling from 6P, so you're going to be using it just as a standalone button a lot, which sucks because that 6P 6H Gatling is like really useful for block strings, even if you're not getting a hit off it. It does still Gatling from 5P and close slash. I think that's the same for both games, but I think that's about it. Yeah, that's about it. So you can Gatling it from 5P or close slash, but no more 6P. Otherwise, it's the same. The only other difference is actually the way it hits balls. Where I think actually they changed it where it'll always hit the ball at that kind of angle. Oh, like that. There we go. Where it always hit the ball at that angle, but as you just saw me fucking it up a lot, it can hit at different angles depending on where the ball is at. Not super useful, but a difference. Close slash 6X might not exist in there. Yeah, I'm honestly not sure. I never actually... There's no reason to ever do it, so I never actually checked. Having a gear to play that's playable online, yeah, it's going to be nice. It seems like it's going to be really good GPO too. So yeah, that's 6H. Basically the same. Only noteworthy difference is the 6H 6P Gatling being gone. For JH, this button is actually really good in this game because it grants knockdown. Oops. So that knocks down from any range. I'm sure there's some range like all the way in the heavens of the stage where maybe it doesn't knock down, but for as far as you're concerned, any range you're going to do it at, it's going to knock down. So that's always going to be a knockdown whenever you do it. So that's really, really good. And grants Venom a knockdown. It's not a great knockdown, but it's a knockdown. Into whatever. You at least get meaty pressure off it. How's this pressure in this game? I think overall a little weaker, but not like that bad. Because the way QV works in Exert and the way the spins work kind of enable for better pressure. And the way ball hitting works too. It all kind of enables better pressure. But it's still good in this game. Maybe not as strong. So yeah, that's all the differences for H. Main one for 5H is the staggers. 2H is prone to whiff and can be used as situational anti-air. 6H, no 6P 6H Gatling. And JH always knocks down. Let's move on to the D normals. So for 5D, someone in the chat remind me, does doing this in Exert make the ball go back and forth? I forget. It's been a long time. It does, right? Okay. So in this game, it doesn't do that. Let's see if I can time it properly. I'll get it. There we go. So yeah, in this game, it does not bounce back and forth in any sense. It'll just go straight. So that kind of sucks for that purpose. Most of y'all don't even use it anyway, so it's not like that big of a deal. But that's the only difference with that. 2D is definitely a lot better in this game. It has a better hitbox, and it hits like from a bit farther away. 5D ball, even more useless. Does it hit backwards? Let's see how far it hits backwards. Yeah, it hits a little bit backwards from. I don't know if it does that in Exert. So I guess that's. I don't know if that. I don't remember if that does that in Exert or not. But it hit a little bit backwards. So I don't know if you want to do like. Oh my god. Please. Right. Something like that. I fucked it up, but you know what I mean. You're not gonna be using that for that purpose a lot anyway, so don't even sweat it. 2D though. 2D has a lot better hitbox. Let's see if I can maybe show it. So it's like a little bit more out. I don't know the exact hitbox of it because again they're not on Dust Loop, unfortunately, so I wasn't able to find them. But it does hit like a little bit more out, like I'm in this range. So it's less prone to whiffing from like farther ranges. Oops. And it's a lot better for mashing. So like the meme of like Venom's mashing 2D comes from this game pretty much. Is not Mizumi. They use Dust Loop for plus R and Exert, not Mizumi. And the Dust Loop wiki kind of got messed up a while back. So again, I believe they had the hitboxes before. I might be wrong on that, but they're not there at the moment. The Exert ones are there though. So if you want to go to the Exert Dust Loop wiki, look at the Exert one, the hitbox for 2D, and then kind of imagine the hitbox being a little bit wider. So it's pretty good for mashing in that sense. Got any notes on 2D? Oh, right, a big thing though. In this game, it has 10 frames more recovery than in Exert. So if you whiff that button, you're riffing it for a good bit longer. It's 10 frame more recovery, and it's like minus 6 more frames minus on block. So that's kind of an important thing to know about it. So still not like the worst. But you're going to be less incentivized to kind of do it like that. Next up, JD. It's a completely different animation, completely different function. In Exert, it's got the arching, hitting the ball at a really great angle. And this one, it's a really, really good air-to-air. It's 7 frame startup, so it's really fast too. This is 7 frames. And it wall splats on counter hit. Let's see. Or wall bounce on counter, sorry, not wall splat. So I'll do that. So for that purposes, it's not like you don't get a lot of the wall bounce, but even still, it's a really solid air tear. It kind of like it forces you to get your turn. So you can probably start setting up something. If you get low air to air, you can get knocked down like that. So it's really good for that purpose. You also hit the ball at the upward angle like that. That not as useful just because where you're going to be able to position for that is not like the most practical, but it can still happen. And it's good to know. So that is all his buttons. I don't think I forgot anything. Next thing I'm going to go over is his throw, which is pretty different. As you can see, it's a lot shorter, the untech time, than Exert. I was going to count. I forgot to put like the time on it. What's the thought process for JP versus JD for air-to-airs? I guess for JP, like it's still mashable. Oh, oops. So you still like keep a block stone for like that, and do multiple ones if you want to do like that. Sometimes you'll tech like really high up in the air, like you'll be up here or something. You'll be like in this range when maybe you take out the combo or something, and like up here it's better to get the JD maybe, because that way, like JP in this sense, you don't really get anything off of it, as opposed to when you're low on the ground. You can set up better and like kind of staircase the way down to get pressure like that, but up here you're kind of just like floating and you're not going to get anything off it. So in that sense, you can opt to use JD when you're higher up on the screen to kind of fish for a bigger hit, to kind of get that more untech time from the counter hit, and then when you get down, it comes set up better. But you're right, there's not like a huge difference between doing one or the other as far as like air goes, other than being safer versus being less committal versus being more committal is a better way to put it. Alright, back to the throws. So again, his ground throw is really short on the untech time compared to Excerpt, where you have about 14 days to do whatever you want. Here you have like about 3 seconds, comparatively. But it's not necessarily that. You just don't get like the OD corner carry and all that. So here, if you want to do something, you gotta pretty much hit the ball instantly. And they'll come bouncing back to you like that. If you're in mid-screen, you can do that. If you get in the corner, they don't really come back to you in time. So in that sense, it's the same as Exert, where if you hit them in the ball, they will go across the screen and come back. Like in both these games, you don't get anything if you do that in the corner. But at least in mid-screen and Exert, you will get something if you have like a little more leniency against it. But this one, it goes pretty back and forth pretty quick, just because of like the screen being smaller. As you can see, this is like maximum zoom in for this game, whereas this is like the max zoom out. And Exert is not as like intense on the zooming in and out. Exert zoom in is probably like maybe that at most, and then like zoom out's kind of like that. Whereas this is maximum zoom out here, and then when you're in close, it gets a lot closer. So there's a lot less travel time for the ball, is the point in all that. But that doesn't mean you can't do stuff off it. The main applications for throw on the ground, you're either going to do one hit close slash into something, or you can do a micro dash close slash, and I'll go into that after this. So first off, oops, close slash in the ball. That's the main thing you're going to be doing as far as just one hit close slash and having it go back and forth like that. And it's going to be used for setup. So like something like that. Because you have enough time for the ball to come back. You get another close slash, you can go into 6K and then go to DBC, or... Well, yeah, that's pretty much going to be the combo you do. As far as what balls you use, that's up to you. The first hit, close slash, always going to want to do H-ball, probably. Or... Yeah, H-ball. Because any other ball gets hit when you try to do stuff. Oops. Let me actually see. So like K-ball will get hit. H-ball will get hit. They'll all get hit other than H-ball. So when you go for this stuff off a throw, it's always close slash 1, H-ball, and it's a whatever. Ah. And you can do whatever mix up. So that's one way to combo off the ground. Another one in the way that, so this is the way it's also different than Exert. In Exert, once they get out of the ball, that's the point where they can tech, and you can't combo them further after that. Oops. But in this game, you can still combo them. So that was a true combo. You can still combo them even after they get out of the ball. So like doing something like that is also applicable, and it's what you're going to want to do if you're like in the corner doing a combo. Whether you're facing in the corner or out of the corner, because if you try to do that, you're not going to be able to get any combo. Or if you try to do that facing that way, you're not going to be able to get anything. Anything reliable anyway. But you can also do like that into whatever in the corner. So you can use close slash. 6P works, so you can do stuff into 6P. I guess you can use 5H, but your main applications are going to be close slash 6K and 6P into whatever. Didn't mess with the order stuff. You're going to do whatever Venom's force breaks. I'm getting to that when I get to the special moves, which is actually in the next part after throws. So I'm going to finish. I'm going to do the throws, and then I'm going to go into all the special moves, and I'll get into the force break stuff. Force break and FRC stuff. So that's the main difference between the ground throw. Is much less untech time. tighter combos on like the hits where the ball bounces back and forth, and the ability to combo them even after they get out of the ball like that. Those are the key differences you're going to want to learn about plus R ground throw for Venom. Is this all structured? You just got here? Yeah, so I've written everything out in a doc about what I'm going to go over, like all the details I want to go over, and I'm going to upload this to YouTube. So I'm actually recording this right now, and I'll upload it probably tonight and post it wherever it needs to be posted. So it's going to be available later. And then once I'm done with everything, I'll take questions about stuff. Like, feel free to ask stuff normally, but I'll also have questions about like more general stuff later. Thank you, Call, for the follow. Thank you, Thurston Moore, for the follow too. I missed that. This is about the highest res. This is about the highest res plus R content online. On the one hand, I'm glad it's high res plus R content. On the other hand, my heart wants it to be 144p, just to keep the legacy of all the ancient plus R footage. But alas, we're in different times, so it is what it is. Anyway, moving on. So next up, we got the air throw. So on this one, there's a few more differences. Again, not nearly the same untech time, although those have more untech time than the ground throw. The ground throw untech is like, I saw on those like 43 frames. And this one is about like 80, what did I say it was? Did I not write it down? I forgot to write it down, but it's like 86 or something for the air. So it's like a good, like double the on-tech time on the air. But the same kind of thing, you're not going to get a whole lot off of it for the most part. Or at least not nearly the same reward as you can get off it in Exert. Because Exert, his throw reward is kind of insane. And I thought it was going to be nerfed at some point during the life of Exert, but they didn't, so yay for that. So so for this, I'm going to demo 3 different heights of air throw. I'm going to try to do really close to the ground, more like a normal air throw like I was just showing right now, and then like a really high up air throw. So you can kind of see what you can get off it. Let's not fuck this up. So on this, you can get normal... You can basically do normal ground combos. And they'll function the same way. And you can do whatever. So if you're low enough to the ground, you can do it. Try to get it a little bit higher. Into whatever. Side switching might happen if you try to do that. But you can, if you compensate it for it, you can still get combos off it. And you can basically combo as if you got a ground throw. If you're low enough to the ground. For the more like normal jump height, that's not normal. Well, that is normal, but not where you can combo. For like this height, there we go, that should be good. No? There we go. That's all you're ever going to get from like a normal jump height if you don't use FRC. If you're high enough to get the button to hit, super jump, JP, JS, JD will always work if you're within range. Like you were seeing me messing up like this, I'm never going to get. That's never going to work. But like here, you'll get that every time. And that's universal. That's like pretty much across the board. It'll always work if you're within the height. But he does have an FRC point on his air throw. Please, dear God, let me get it. There we go. So at that point, he gets FRC point on his air throw. How can I get Haas to jump really high? I guess it works. Okay. There we go. Okay. So on like the really high jumps, see if I can time it. Oh, I'm bad. I'm sorry. Actually, you know what? Let me just do this. On like that kind of height, you're only ever gonna get combo off of it if you get the FRC. And if you do JD, it will always do that kind of wall bounce like it does on the ground. That will always happen. And depending on where you are in the screen, you can get different things. Normally, it's kind of hard to convert off of that even still, but it's better than nothing. Yo, Aaron, thanks for the follow, bro. Appreciate it. Let me see. I try to set this up better. So yeah, it is hard to combo off it because like it's a lot of variable like where you want the screen, but you can get something off it, and if nothing else, you can kind of like just get like maybe a knockdown. I fucked it up. But yeah, that's pretty much. Though I'm not gonna keep trying, but that's pretty much the only way you're gonna be able to combo anything from that height is to get FRC, and really that even applies for like. Please. Okay, I suck. But pretty much even like from that high where you're not going to get the super jump JP, you're only going to ever get a combo from the FRC point. So learning that FRC is important. And learning what you can do off it is important too. So throws, to sum it up, way less on tech time. But that doesn't mean you can't combo off them. They don't have the same corner carry at all for various reasons, but not having the under time is a big one. So you're largely just going to use it to like do setups. A combo you can do off the ground one is like that. That's not universal because hurt box differences, but that's like an example of a combo you can do. One that is universal is that. I missed a micro dash, but you can get a micro dash off. That works, trust me. So that's the kind of thing you can do off the ground throw and the air throw. Alright, on to the special moves. Let me see. So for the special move part, I am going to be also going over the moves, FRCs and force breaks if the move has them. Both FRCs and force breaks take 25 of your meter. So just keep that in mind with regards to that. The first one we're going to do, oops, on the game, there we go, is double head Morbid. So the H1 isn't all that different, but the S1 is a little bit different because it only does like one hit, and it also sends them across the screen. Next doesn't send them quite that far, I don't think at least, but it also does like maybe like 2 or 3 hits next, where this one's just that one standard hit, and it sends them flying. As far as application goes, you're not really going to use it all that much, to be honest. Maybe if you're trying to like catch them mashing or something, you can do that and send them going that way so you can get something going. The way the ball hit works is like Rev 2, 2.1, I forget which one it was, buff. It just goes straight up. It doesn't come back down. The S double head Morbid is untech is worse in this game? I guess so. I don't remember the untech time in Extra, to be honest. Just because you don't use it that way at all, really. The usage in Exert is more so, at least now with 2.1, on setups. You can get KD at least. Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. Huh? Yeah, so I guess that's a big difference too. In Exert, you get knocked down off it. In this game, you don't. But it's still like a good, I guess, kind of like good, maybe a good Arbari thing if you want to send them across the screen. I would recommend using it like that, but you can if you want. The really big difference from current Extra Rev 2 Venom is that in Rev 2, the ball goes up and down like a Carcass Raid would. They made that change to both the double head Morbids, but this one is like how it used to be, where it only goes one way. Still good for that use if you think they're gonna be above you or something. So you still can catch people that way. So it's not bad for that. H double head Morbid, basically the same thing with like 1 key difference. I don't remember how many hits it did in Exer, but in this one it does 4 hits. And it still allows for teching if you do it like with low hits. They can still tech out of it. I messed up. But in higher tech situations where you might want to end with double head Morbid, it can cause knockdown like that. So you can still use it that way. The only difference is in this game you can change your travel time. So this is me just doing it normally. That's not me doing any changes to it, so it goes full screen. But if you hit H again, it makes it go a little bit lower. It cuts like the travel time depending on when you press the button. But like that being about the closest you can do it. I don't think Exert is like that. So I'm pretty sure it's unique to this game. And you can adjust the time basically from anywhere from like half screen to like 75, 80%. Oops, to full screen. So that's really the only difference. I mean, again, you're not really going to use it for that, but in the event you find some sick shit with it, you know now. Next up is the Force Break Match Struggle, which is this one. It's the same input with D button, so in case you didn't know, all Force Breaks are the special input with D. So this is with the S one, this is the H one, and this is the D one. Not every move has a Force Break, but the ones that do, will always be on the D button. Or related to the D buttons in some sense, because some characters are weird. For Venom, his Force Break match, Double and Morbid, is good for what it does. So it does 6 hits, which is good for like those Dark Angel situations where you're just mobbing them with these balls and then you want to go in and do whatever. It's good for to get those extra few hits, but more importantly, so H double head Morbid does not knock down here. FB double head Morbid always knocks down. So if you kind of like want to guarantee a knockdown for some reason, where you can't do something else, but you can do like if you want to do that, for example, I guess, where you can't do like a Dubious Curve necessarily, you can always get a knockdown on that, and whenever it hits, it will always knock down from whatever hit number. So that part doesn't matter. So it's good for that. It's good for like end of rounds too, to do that, to get those extra few hits because those matter. And that's basically it for Double and Morbid. Not super useful. If you played Exit Venom before Ref 2 or 2.1 when they made those changes, it's basically just how those were, where you weren't using it all that much. And even with the changes, it's only like specific uses you use it for. Except for the D one, because it does those 6 hits and knocks down, so that can be useful in situations. Next up is Teleport. So Teleport is the same input. The really big difference is it auto jump installs. So you can always double jump after a teleport. You can still air dash, of course, but this is the big difference. So it does that automatically. You don't gotta set up jump install previously. So you don't gotta do like some jump install input with like close slash or something to get it. It just happens on its own. So that's really, really good actually, because it lets you be a lot more mobile, and you're not just like limited to having to air dash forward or backwards. We do a double jump. And it's also helpful for setups. If you really like doing fuzzy setups, I don't know any fuzzy setups in particular. I'll try to do something, just as an example. So if you like, I'm going to stand blocking. Or just standing in general. That was this one. I'm not good at fuzzies, but you can do stuff like that with teleport, and I'm sure if you've watched like the combo videos or you've seen like gameplay of people, you've definitely seen those fuzzies. So you can do them a lot easier because you don't have to jump install. So that really enables that stuff a lot more. So if you like fuzzying, this move is really, really good for that. Again, I'm really bad at fuzzying, so I don't really do it all that much, so I can't really show it to you. The other pretty significant difference, which you won't notice, you won't really pay attention to at first, which is not really necessarily aware of it, but when you cross up on someone, or you switch sides during a teleport, you do not autocorrect, at least not right away. Let's see how long it takes me to autocorrect. Yeah, it's very hard to get the autocorrect on a teleport, because even see there, I keep missing it. So that's a big thing. It's very annoying once you start noticing that's happened, because like we get used to. Please. It's like that might still work, but if basically if your air button is not in range to hit, because of like the backwards hitbox or something, you're not gonna get a hit because it won't turn around. So that's also a pretty significant difference as far as teleport goes. It's a lot more annoying for neutral, and for like situations where you want to teleport on top of them to a ball. because you might not necessarily get a cross up off of it, and you might just whiff and you're kind of like negative, and it still is their turn when it's supposed to be your turn. So yeah, that's a pretty big difference. The no cross up on that, and the auto jump install where you can jump after doing it. Other than that, operates the same. Next up, Mad Struggle. S Mad Struggle, the same. You can do it in the same ways. No difference there. H, the same. Does a hit. No problem there. Do it from whatever height. But who cares about that? S and H are the same. This is what you want to know about. So Force Break Mad Struggle. Is counter still on? No, it's not. Oh, it's because guard block. So Force Break Mad Struggle pops them up for a free combo like that. And you can do like whatever after him, especially in the corner. Mid screen, you can't get as much off it because they kind of pop up that way, but you can still get a knockdown. If you mess with like so like Gerran posted a combo where there's like something like that. So something like that you can convert if you spend the meter and know like the confirm for it. You can do it in mid screen, but generally you're going to want to be doing it in the corner because you get you get whatever you want after it, and it's a big damage starter too. And you can do it as low as like a normal Mad Struggle. The only thing about it is if you hit like from too high, you won't get the bounce. So it's kind of like that, but you're not really going to do it like that anyway. Because even if you like really generously like do it higher than you think you would, you still kind of get the hit most of the time. It's only like max jump range that you're not going to get it. So really good on hit. You pretty much get a full combo on. You will always get a full combo in the corner off of it. Mid screen, not as rewarding, but you can still get like a knockdown if nothing else. Something like that. So still good to use. That's not even the best part about Force Break Mad Struggle. So when they block, you are plus 19 on block with Force Break Mad Struggle. This is plus 19. This TK fast move, plus 19. And you can act after it, because it doesn't take up your air dash. Or your, does it take up your jump? I don't actually know. So it takes your jump, but it doesn't take your air dash. So you can still mix after it. So even if they block it successfully, because you're so fucking plus, you can still go for another mix-up. So you can go TK into low. You can go, oops. You can go TK into air dash. Probably don't keep fucking it up. Do a little bit higher. There we go. Into air dash combo. You can do into another one, into another one, into another one if you want. You can do normal Mad Struggle. Into TK Mad Struggle, into TK Mad Struggle, into air dash. Forcing Mad Struggle is fucked up, and you should use it if you can. It's a really, really stupid move. 19 once you touch the floor, and like 19 when you still fall, or like 19 when you're still falling. Just after he recovers. Once he recovers, is 19, because he recovers in the air. So I guess in the air is what you're still asking while he's still falling. Because it's not like you do that and then you get to the ground and then the frame match starts. Once you're here, it's already going on. So you can do stuff like that. It's really, 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 really fucking cheap. And you can do a lot out of it too, which is, on top of it being this really fast overhead, being able to like do that is kind of crazy. Yeah, plus 19 is plus 19. So that's definitely going to be a strong usage of your force breaks. If you... Venom's force breaks, honestly, they're all kind of fucked up. Except for a double-headed Morbid. The other three are really, really good. And you're going to be wanting to use them a lot. Hello, Lepa's teleport has counter stay in this game. Honestly, off the top of my head, I don't know. Probably yes. I don't see why I wouldn't, to be honest, because he has the same kind of problem in this game as in Exert, where a lot, like everything he does is counter hit state. So that part about him is persistent. I guess I should have mentioned that because I didn't think about it, but yeah, pretty much everything Venom does is in counter hit state. So always assume that that's gonna be the case. Hey, what's up, Labrys? How you doing, dude? Hope all is well with you. But yeah, just assume it's counter hit state. You don't think? I thought it did. Let me look at the slip real quick. If I can find it. Alright, skimming dust loop, it doesn't say that's counter hit, so I guess maybe not. But anyway, it's like, assume it's the same, I guess. Yeah, I thought I did too, but I don't know. To be honest, that aspect of it, I'm not sure. But yeah, so sum up match struggle. S the same, H the same. D fucked up. Anyway. So next up, I'm gonna go over the ball sets. You're just cranking someone's guard gauge like? I know, man. Hold up, let me just get full guards. Let me just get you flashing real quick. Alright, we're good, let's play. Ground mounts, yeah, I went over that a few minutes ago. Yeah, right now, Laris, I'm going over everything for the change of plus R. It's from Exert to plus R, the differences, rather. And that was one of the things I went over, so. And in case you guys are just tuning in halfway through, I am going to be uploading this to YouTube later. And the VODs should be up. I'm pretty sure I have them enabled, so that's going to be good. So it's going to be available. Also, thank you for the follow, Laris. Appreciate it. But moving on. We are... Actually, let me see how long I've been doing this for us already. Hour 14? No, that's about as long as I thought. Alright, moving on. Ball sets. So these ball sets, the startup is the same. As far as how this feels, it's the same. A key difference from Exert to this game is that in one of the patches in Exert, they made it so you can just hold the button to get the next ball. You didn't have to input it every time. So if I were to do like that, for example, that's a KS example. Sorry. That's a KS set, for example. So if I wanted to do it in Exert, I would just do 214K and then hold S, and it'll come out automatically. In this game, you have to input every time. So if you look at my inputs, it's every time. If I try to just do the next button, like you see down here, it doesn't come out. So that's just how it is in this game, and how it was for Exit for a little bit. So next up for the balls is that also on Exert, what's the good ball set I can use to demo this? This should be good. Yeah, so in Exert, you teleport to the last ball made, which in this instance, with this set, would be this bottom ball right here. But in plus R, you teleport to the first ball you did. So here I do D and then S. I teleport to the D ball over here. And that will always be the case. You always teleport to the last ball created. Or, the first ball created, sorry, mixing myself up. You will always teleport to the first ball you created. So in this, what's the one I showed? So in D, oh, that's H. So in D, K, S, I'll teleport to this ball first. Can I hit this? I'll teleport the K ball next. And then it'll be to the S ball. So that's a key difference in this game. The main application of that difference is setups, pretty much. And how you teleport the balls, obviously. But mainly in setups and how you're going to do things. Because in Exert, you're used to the last ball you make is where you're going to go to, where this one is the first ball you make. So the order matters like differently than in Exert. So that's an important thing to keep in mind. Another really big thing in this game is the balls. They stay on screen for about 2 seconds less than Exert. I actually timed it out because I was not sure the exact time. And plus R, it stays out for about 6 seconds, and Exert, it stays out for about 8 seconds. So the balls are on screen for like a significantly less time. Yeah, it's noticeably shorter, and you will notice it when you're playing. Very, very noticeable. You get used to it, of course, but like if you have something like this, for example, and you hit that one, you're kind of just like dancing around, doing whatever, and then you want to teleport, it'll mix up. So that's a super noteworthy thing about balls in this game, is that they stay for about 2 seconds less than an exert. Next thing about the ball sets I want to show off is that you can... So in this game, there's double tap. There's re-hitting the balls. So you can do that in this game. What you can't do in... you can't do an exert, because an exert, once you hit the balls, they're on their way. You can't interact with them again. But in this game, we hit the balls, again, they move again. So like that changes pressure in a pretty significant way if you're used to exert pressure. Because like a common string in exert is doing like SP, 5P ball with / slash into whatever. It's like another ball into like that. But you can't do like that specifically in this game because the balls get hit again. So the balls don't maintain their like velocity, their trajectory. They don't stay in one particular way. They will get altered if you hit it again. So in that particular example, I can do like 5P again because I can't hit it again with the same normal. Not the same normal, but the same velocity normal. So like 5P, I can't hit again because it's already going at that rate. But let's use like I'm gonna use JP for example, right? So if you heard it, you didn't see it very visually because it's like this very slight change. But if you heard it, it was 2 ball hits. So it's first ball hit and the second ball hit. So that ball will be able to get hit again because the velocity is different. So if the ball speed hit, that's probably the clearest way I can say it. The speed at which the normal hits the ball, yeah, there was a clank if you heard it. The speed at which the normal hits the ball, if it's like a higher velocity than the previous normal, then you can re-hit it. But if not, then it'll kind of go the same. Like that's never gonna hit it. Let me do it different way. Like 2P is the same way. 5P and 2P have the same amount. So they'll never hit again. I think that whiffed in here, but they'll never hit again. But the normals will. Excuse me. So re-hitting the balls in this game is a really big difference. On the surface level, in practice, it's noticeable really in pressure. But other than in pressure situations, it's kind of like situational when you're actually be able to do it. Is there still the same effect of removing pushback on Venom if you hit the opponent with a normal, which then late re-hits a moving ball? Oh yeah, that probably is the same thing. Yeah, so as you can see here, I'll move. So that's the same. Generic difference, wake up times are humongous and plus arc compared to Exert. Venom is 21, 24 face down. I think the numbers are different, but effectively it's the same thing. His one wake up timing is really fast and the other one's really short. So if I the ball re-hits. Oh, honestly, I don't know. I don't know when that's going to come up. No, let's try it. It does. So there you go. So this is the 5P hit and this is the 5K hits because 5K hits faster. So if you do 5P hit and you like that, you don't get any pushback. So yeah, good, really good question, Take. The no pushback on the ball hit is still applicable in that situation. I actually didn't know that. So thank you for pointing that out. I don't know when in practice that's going to be useful. But hey, we know that now. And that's good to know. Well, I was going to say something else about the formation. Oh yeah. So in Exert, there's only 4 formations for P, K, S, and H. In this game, there's also a D formation, which goes down there. And there's also the... I don't know how to say it. The like PD formation, PH formations, the extra formations in plus R. I guess that's how I'll refer to it. So the best way to kind of show it is with, I guess, H-ball probably. So this is normal H ball, just 214H. If you looking at the inputs is important for this. So that's just 214H. If I do 214H D, like that, the ball goes different. It goes a different angle. That's because when you do button then D quick enough, it accesses a different set of formations. So in this game, he has 9 total formations, whereas next he has 4. He has the 4 base one, the 4 same base ones, excuse me, on the top of the extra D one, and then the 4 extra D ones. So there's a lot of versatility in ball sets there. So just to put them all on the screen, this is the P formation. This is the K formation. Oh, let me move closer. Please. This is the S formation. What's the next H? This is the H formation. This is the D formation. So that's the 5 base formations, and now for the extra D formations. So this is the extra P deformation. The normal P formation is this one. So you can kind of see like they're also like there's no continuity within the different formations. They're just straight up completely different formations. The K deformation. Oops. Why you gotta do that? The K deformation is this one. It's like a cross. It's plus. The S1 is the S deformation is this, and the last formation is the H deformation, which is this. KD versus D. Yeah, I'm gonna get to that. That's one of the things I was gonna note. As far as the extra deformations go, from my experience, is that there's 2 particularly important ones that you're going to be using a lot, but as for the most part, you're going to be using them primarily as like setups to pull different setups from. In neutral, they're not like something you're going to really be using all that much. I'm sure you could find plenty of neutral uses for them, but I don't know which deformations will really be useful over the normal formations. So if you find the deformation you like to use in neutral, you can do it, but it's just an extra input that you're gonna have to do on the fly in the game. Sorry, let me get some water. And then another thing I want to mention about the deformations. Well, a few more things, but the thing I want to mention now is the leniency. You have to do it. So to show that, I'm gonna be using let me get closer. DS, normal DS as an example. So normal summon DS is like this. If I do the DSD one, it'll go over there. The main reason I'm saying this at all is to show that you don't have to plink it or anything. You don't do it right away. There's a lot of leniency towards it. And this ball formation in particular shows the way the balls move pretty well. So again, this is normal DS. Spread the balls, and then I'm gonna do DSD. So there's a lot of time you can have to move the balls. If you do it instantly, you get them like that. That's like pretty much instant. If you want to delay a little bit, you can. You can see there's a pretty big difference in the amount of time you have to do it. Oops. I'm fucking up. So I'm only showing that to show that you don't have to do it like right away. It's not like a thing you have to plink or anything. There is a good bit of leniency to it if you can do D combos or D setups rather. As far as which D formation D balls you're going to want to use, the key ones are KD and HD. KD, if you noticed, is literally just Xrd K ball. This is normal K ball. This is KD ball. So if you know how to use Xrd K ball, it's literally just that. Saying that this isn't Xrd where you want to do teleport mix. You can do teleport mix-ups. You can still do that. I do teleport mix-ups in the corner. Trust me, teleport mix-ups are still very fucked up if you set it up properly. Don't let that teleport being a little bit weird and not auto-correcting the right way disrupt you. You can still very much do it. So KD is this one. It's literally just extra K-ball. I'm dropping. It's literally the same exact application. The reason why I would suggest using KD over just K is because if you're like just getting used to this game, you'll notice the lack of like buffer in it. So it feels like inputting things are a lot harder. So if you do normal K-ball, you're gonna be prone to missing a lot. If you try to do like jump, that'll happen a lot, where you just like kind of miss the ball because you're not used to it. But with KD ball, even if you miss time a little bit, you still get that ball. So I would really recommend mostly just doing KD ball, because anything you get off of K ball is like the same. Where you land might be like slightly different. Excuse me, but it's more or less the same. The other really important one is HD. This is a combo filler ball, and you're gonna have to learn it for like more advanced combos. It's Haas. I can do it on this. Oops, I fucked it up. But it's like in this sort of combo, I use the HD ball right there. A lot of times, that's the only way you can get combos to work like that. You have to use the HD ball. And you do ball hit into into DBC. Oh my god, I'm getting better right now. There we go. So for more advanced combos, learning this ball, HD ball, is mandatory. You have to learn it. And it's applications. So it's not like awkward to use in the combo or anything. You get used to doing it pretty quickly, so it's not like something you have to like really grind out and get used to hitting the extra button. It's pretty simple to use, but those are absolute mandatory that you gotta do. Well, HD is absolutely mandatory as you get better. You don't have to do that first if you don't want to, because you can just do that or something simple. But for more advanced combos and more stuff you want to do, this ball is very important. And also, if you notice, it's also just the extra H ball. So if you want to get like a knockdown and just do like that, you can still do that. Whereas normal H ball is just there. So it's also good for that application too, of getting that old extra H ball there. Everything else for far the the extra D formations go, you can look for yourself. All of them are on Dust Loop. I just showed them all off there just to have it there. They're all on the Dust Loop wiki, which again, if you type ACP R Venom wiki into Google, is the very top link. Yeah, those are the main ones that you're going to be wanting to use at least. As far as particular formations to use, that's 2-ball ones. Oh, actually, before I even get into that, a big difference just on the one-step ball is this is your S ball in plus R. It goes down here. S ball in Exert is that one. It is the one that goes behind you. You don't have this ball here anymore. That's not a ball you can get off of one ball anymore. This is your S ball, which is basically the Exert P ball. P ball is this. It's a little bit higher than what it is in Exert, so it might trip you up a little bit. So you can still do like stuff like that, but it's with S ball. And now a P ball. If you try to do a P ball, you're gonna miss. My hit fingers are all messed up. Hold on. Let me reset. So like that will never work with P-ball. You have to use S-ball for that kind of stuff. So that on its own is really gonna trip you up a lot at first, going from X to plus R. Just where the S-ball is located. You get used to it, of course, but then like if you're gonna be flip-flopping between X and plus R, you're gonna get tripped up of that a lot. So just be prepared for that. And yeah, that's about it. For like certain 2-ball formations, SP is still good for the exact same reasons. Using pressure, hit ball like that, it's still good. PKD is the K formation of this, and it's just extra PK, which is the same. It's still good in the same way, so you should definitely use it. Normal PK is like that, which I guess is not bad on its own. You can use it for stuff. I can do that or something. But PKD is extra PK. Really strong for the same reasons. What's next? KS is another good one because of the multiple different heights you can hit the ball. So if you just set it raw, you can do that and cover it a lot of different ways. That will hit. It's a good one for Oki. So if you do like KDBC into H, you do that into Oki, and you into pressure stuff. And then it's also good for neutral too. So the neutral ways I just showed again, like you can do that, you can hit it multiple different ways, but also a 2P ball hit at the right space will get you the balls to go like that. So 2P ball hit like that will make the balls full like that. If it's similar to Xrd SH, which I don't think there's a comparable set in this game to that, this will be the closest one, except it's on the ground, not in the air. And time frame is a little bit. It's more admissible to get the particular ball hit. But that's also a really good one because you do this, oops, and you can use that to get the ball, get in, hit the ball into whatever, and go in. So that's also a really good one. Last one I'm going to know for now is PD, just because of the range it gives you. So this bomb ball is the P ball, the K ball, sorry. Oh my god. That bomb ball is the D ball, jeez. So P, D. If you teleport, you'll go to the D ball. This D ball hits on the floor. And it'll hit moves that are on the floor. So think of it like Grand Viper. I think it hits Stroke. It'll go under Justice's bombs. So if you're struggling with Justice matchup and you're full screen, you do that, go underneath it. It'll travel underneath all her bombs. Even if they explode, they can't hit it, and it'll end up at Justice. And if it hits her, all the bombs go away. So that it has a lot of applicable use. And even just as like a do that, and then you can kind of approach how that ball there for like whatever you want to do. So it's also a really good neutral ball set as well. So that's pretty much, I think, everything I wanted to cover with ball sets. A lot of little differences, for sure. The most significant, of course, in my opinion, is that the balls last 2 seconds shorter in this game than in Xrd. That you can re-hit the balls, whereas you can't in Xrd. And really, like, I'm not undermining this S ball being different. It's gonna trip you up a lot. Not having the ball, not having like this back ball to kind of like retreat with. So those are the significant differences with a ball set. Let me get some water real quick. My throat is really dry. Actually, right now, is there any questions about ball sets in particular that I haven't covered that you guys might want to know about? If so, let me know right now. If not, I'll move on to Dubious Curve. Man, talking's hard. Alright, it's looking like no, so I'm going to move on. Next up in our special moves is Dubious Curve. The shorthand for it, when you see it described in combos, is DBC. Why it's not just DC, I don't know. But it's DBC when you see it shorthand. I'm sure there's an actual reason for it. So this is... So QV replaced this ball. This one. This one. QV replaced this. And to be honest, it has a lot less utility than QV does. For the most part, you're going to be... Oops. For the most part, you're going to be pretty much using it as just like combos. Combo filler. Oops. Oh my god. So this is gonna be your main use into combos like that. When on hit, it gives you the electric ball, the lightning ball, and this ball does 3 hits always, and it stays out for the same amount of time as the regular ball set does. On block, it doesn't give you that though. On block, it's just a normal ball, so you don't get a power up version. That's only on hit. It's your main combo tool, and it's useful for pressure to set up after you get like a knockdown with it. The ways you can combo with it, QB screen share has nothing on noise pollution. Oh, we'll get to noise pollution later. Don't you worry, Take. Noise pollution is noted in other things. Yeah, this move definitely loud as fuck. It doesn't have the same utility on block as it does QV does, because there's such a big gap in between like where you can use it. You have to like RC or FRC it to like get anything out of it to keep them committed to blocking. Otherwise, by the time you do it, it's like basically a free jump to get out. One thing you could do to circumvent that, so I'm using the S ball right now, is you can kind of do like H Carcass Raid like that, and it'll hit the ball in that particular angle. I don't know if those are P or not. And different balls do different angles. The main ball you're going to use for DBC is the S ball. That S DBC is your main DBC that you're going to use for combos. The other ones don't really, they don't combo the same way. Because with this, you can do 2S OTG, and it'll let you continue combo. It's actually technically not an OTG, but like an un-OTG, so it takes away the OTG status, which is the thing that's in this game. And you can do it as long as you're in range. And you can, I've gotten it up to like 40-something hits. So if you just keep FRCing it, like that's with infinite meter, of course. You can't do it with normal meter. But that just goes to show if you keep doing it. Oh, that was a bad example. But if you keep doing it, you can keep going as long as you're in range and not whiffing it. It can, like you just saw, have a little bit of a dead zone up close depending on the character. Usually that's not an issue. But as you saw, it can happen. As long as you have meter, you can keep comboing it, and it's good for like end around situations to kind of just keep spamming it to kind of get that guts crush. Your main one you're going to use is the S1 for those reasons, because S does pick up, but only off of... Does it work on him? No. Only off of close slash on certain characters. Yeah, it doesn't work on us. That works. That's character specific. But close slash 6K, it's a free OTG, and that's universal. You can't dash and do it though off of that. You have to FRC it for that. If you want to do it off 5H, that doesn't work without FRC. This will not combo without FRC. But it will combo with FRC. Generally, if you FRC it, you're going to want to dash after you do it. You don't need to buffer dash necessarily, you just do normal dash with it. I don't buffer dash on DBC because I don't think you need to. On other moves, you do need to, but not on FRC, not on DBC. So you can do it and still get combo as if you were doing it without meter, but you get farther away. But if you're closer, you get more. And plus, that leaves you closer for setups. So when you're this far, and you try to do something, it's a little bit harder to get anything good when you're like this far away. But when you're this close, you can set up a lot more effective things. So that's one thing about FRC. It can also just be RC. It's not only FRC. So you can't just RC it if you mistime it. It's not an FRC only move. It does work on RC. You're going to want to learn FRC because, of course, you save meter. But not wholly necessary. Not necessary, but not required to use it is a better word. You can just miss it and get RC and still do all the same thing. It still works the same. Close shots, DBC in the corner. So yeah, so this is character specific whether it works. It doesn't work on Haas, but it works on other characters. If you're in a combo where you have like higher ground hits, like let's say, I don't know a good way to set it up, to be honest. I'm gonna try one more time. So I guess it doesn't work on us. But if you're on higher hits of a combo, close slash 6k DBC might not work. They might jump out. Like around the 11, 12-ish hit area. So in that instance, going straight into DBC will usually work on most characters. Because the gravity at that point makes them kind of not be as floaty. So that is something you can do. Otherwise, close slash 6k DBC, pretty much always going to work. Can do it off throw too. Each one a little easy throw combo. Really reliable, really easy. Gets you a lightning ball. As I mentioned before, it does have un-OTG properties. So to get the combo, like to do those these combos, it technically removes the OTG status. It technically takes it off of sliding status. I'm gonna try to show it off better this way. So you see, doing it that way, it takes them off the ground, but not like in an OTG sense that we're traditionally used to. It's not like this, where they're on the ground getting hit. They're taken off of the ground. Like they get the OTG stance removed, and then it becomes a normal combo. Oops. So like that kind of stuff, it will remove the OTG status. It's specifically useful in certain areas, like that FB match struggle combo I was trying to do earlier. If you're in the R Venom Discord, Gerran posted it in the Legacy channel. I think I posted some in the plus R Venom channel too, so you can check there. But basically, it's like, and the pick up like that, and you can continue the combo. Is OTG removal a characteristic of a lightning ball? Yes. It's kind of like the sliding status it gives like that. It allows you to be able to un-OTG. Other characters have that in this game too. Off the top of my head, I can only remember that Testament has it. I think Pot might have it with like Slide Head, or like he used to have it with Slide Head or something. But other characters do have it. Soul, for example, his Force Break Fafnir. If you clean hit it on the ground, so if, well, I guess probably not good thing showing now, but if you do like 2D Force Break Fafnir in the corner, it'll clean hit and you can pick up off like you do normal. In the same way I do that. I guess we'll get to later, but does it apply to lightning balls from Tactical Arch as arc or whatever? Probably. The only difference is doing it off Tactical Arch is like not mid combo usually. I guess you mean like normal hit. No. So just the lightning ball on its own. I see what you mean now. So just this on its own, no, it doesn't give the properties. I guess maybe D-ball would be better. I don't know how I can't really like show it all that well, but so just the lightning ball on its own, no. Like it's not like now the lightning ball is made, you get the un-OTG properties. It's like that knockdown in particular. It's like him sliding on the ground like that is what grants him that un-OTG. Yeah, I see what you were asking now. What else? So yeah, you can do that. There's applications for that. The most common, the only good ones that I've been able to find so far, I haven't looked into it too much, admittedly, but good ones that I use it for. So this combo is close slash 2S, 5S, and the DBC into SD. Oh yeah, that's another important thing. The SD stuff also applies to DBC, same exact way. You just do input and then D. So one application I use the un-OTG for is like that combo. I fucked up the other, but you can do that combo to kind of give you like corner extension. Or what was the other thing I did? Or there's also I can do the same combo, but also do it with H DBC. So you pick up like that. Maybe on Haas it's a little bit weird because Haas likes to be weird like that. Actually, this is a good time to switch the character because I was going to show something else too.
Please select your character.
Let's see if it works on Potemkin. So yeah, you can do stuff like that with the un-OTG. I think that's a kind of like a more unexplored area of it, as far as like as what I've seen in match videos anyway. Those are like the only two applications I've ever seen, or like I rather paid attention to. So that's one thing you can do off that. The last thing I want to note about Dubious Curve is that it is frame 1 low involt. Nope. No. So that is frame 1 low involt. Honestly, it looks cooler than it's useful for. Oops. But it has applications that you can use it for. So like I'm showing now, probably the most practical application you're ever going to use for it is versus slide head in particular. Oops, they're a little bit late there. And you can get a ball that way and not have to like commit to something where you might miss a package or something. It's like frame 1 to like frame 17 low involt. So I guess also if you think they're gonna do like run up 2D or something, see if this works with them. I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna work or not, but let's find out. Oops. No, so that doesn't work, but there might be some application of that as well that you can be trying to use. Looks really cool to do, not all that applicable unfortunately, aside from Potemkin. The inverse Potemkin, like if you're not like aware of it, like let's say you try to do it and you try to do it too late, you don't react in time, that can happen. But it is something to make note of. Yeah, that's everything about Dubious Curve and all its applications. Overall, compared to QV, QV is a lot better in like most senses. It's a lot more versatile what you can do with QV. Dubious Curve, largely you're going to use it for combo fillers and to get those lightning balls. And from there, like set up pressure. Not bad by any means, but when you compare it to QV, it's really not like, it's kind of lackluster. But good for what it does. Alright, next up is Stinger Aim. Did I miss any force breaks? No, okay. Now I'm gonna start getting force breaks. Alright, next up is Stinger Aim. The super important thing to know about Stinger and Carcass is that they both have 5 frame more startup in this game than they do in Exert. So in Exert, they're 5 frame less charge time than in this game. So like this would work in Exert. But I get just whiff buttons here because I haven't charged enough. If I wait long enough, then I'll get it. But that whiffs. And that's something you're going to feel absolutely for sure. Because even though it's only a 5 frame difference, it's more time, not less time. So you're going to catch yourself just whipping buttons a lot more. And I've done it a lot where I'm like, I think I've had enough charge and I just do far slash, or I think I have enough charge to do Carcass and I just jump and hit it normal. That's going to be kind of a frustrating thing to deal with at first. You get used to it. It's not like all that bad to get used to. It's just a matter of adjusting. So that's something really important to know about both Stinger and Carcass Raid. They're both 5 extra frames of charging in this game. A cool thing about Stingers in this game, though, is that hits balls from behind you. And Exer don't do that. And Exer, the way the balls interact with Stinger or Carcass is that when they hit, it levels up the ball to the next highest level. So I'll never level to like a level 2 ball or something. And that ball will linger. It won't just keep going. So if I do that, that third ball will become like a level 2 ball, for example. In this game, it doesn't do that. They just collide and go. And there's no spins or anything in this game either, whereas Xrd you have the spins. But what kind of makes up for that, and something I really like a lot, is that the balls hit from behind you. And that's really, really, really useful for pressure. You'll be setting up something like... And you can follow up like that. If you have a ball, I don't know, something like right. Do something like that, and the balls will give you extra block stun, lets you do a little bit more. Whereas in Xrd you don't really have that option, because a new ball will get created, but the ball getting created in Xrd kind of has like a little bit more time to it, I guess, is the way to phrase it. And you're not really going to be doing like this and a ball hit into another ball hit, because by the time you do that, the block stun for that's already gone and they can already interrupt or escape or whatever. So that's actually something I really, really like about Stinger in this game. S Stinger startup, basically the same. H Stinger, pretty much the same. Charging is also the same, with one extra thing, in that you can cancel it. So if you're holding the button down and you get there, you just press P, and it will cancel whatever you were doing. So the ball charges are not a commit anymore. If like Pot's like jumping at you or something, doing that as you're sitting like over here. Let me see if I can do this right. Charging, you're not just going to be sitting, or you're not going to have to be forced to waste meter and stuff. Well, I guess in this case you couldn't waste meter anyway, because the RC system is different. But you're not like a sitting duck anymore when you're like caught in a position where you're charging and then someone's like already in an angle to overcome your charge. So that's really good about Stingers while they can feint it. And you can do it in combos too. This you're gonna want to like really do at first when you're fucking around. But the more you do it, you realize it's hard to do back to back. Like I was just trying to do like 2 consecutive, and it's pretty fucking hard because of the additional charge time. And honestly, I hate to say it, but it's not all that good to be using it like that. If you're like frame perfect and you have like really particular things you might be able to set up, maybe in that case. But for the most part, it's not. Other than for saving yourself, it's like not something you're really gonna do a whole lot more. Doing feints with charge moves sounds like a huge pain. It's not. It's a bit awkward, I guess. I fucked it up. Because it's on P, so it is a little bit weird to do at first. But you can do it. Feint into the throw is fun. Let me see if I can do it. Maybe something like that. So there's certain things you can do for it, but it's the main utility of it, I guess, would be to save yourself from like someone jumping in on you. So like you do that and you can still block. And then I'm gonna go over the force. So I'll do the force break Stinger next, and I'll go over the FRCs for Stinger. So this is force break Stinger. As you can see, it's very obviously degenerate. It's very, very good. It's very good for like pressure to. I don't know how to set up reliably. I'm not gonna bother trying to set up pressure in this training mode because it's kind of difficult to like put a string on. But let's say like you're here or something. I like this range. FB Stinger into 2H re-hit. I'll get to the re-hit, don't worry. The re-hit is actually really good. But if, let's say you're in close range like this and you're trying to bar out, where you would normally do like that into Stinger Wire C, you obviously can't do that anymore. I guess maybe you can do like that, but it's not like as a strong of an option. This though is a very good option as an Abari move. Just do that instantly like that, and you get the space. You get like a little bit of advantage too. Actually, at that range, I don't know the frame that it is. I don't know if you're actually at advantage, but you've created a gap and you've kind of thrown them off their offense. So as a Bari, it's really, really good. To hit balls, it'll give the same effects to balls. Let me see if I can set it up properly. So you can do like that depending on how you hit it. There's a setup I like to do. What is it? I'll do the really easy version. So I'll do like this into like that, and that could be like a true combo or block string. So there's applications like that for it. Also, you can re-hit the ball, so you can have the ball going up like this. So you do like a bar into 5. Oops, missed it there. The ball hit made. You do like that, and so like kind of use it to manipulate, which is very good. I guess you can also do like that, but the point being that you can re-hit it when it comes back, which is very, very useful. And of course, you can also charge FP Stinger, and yes, you can hit it like that. Whether you'll be able to like really do that a whole lot, I don't know, but you can definitely make use of that in some sort of way. Or rather, it's an option that you can do. So FP Stinger, at least, I don't know if it's, to say it's better than FP Match Struggle sounds wrong. It's at least as good as FP Match Struggle, and that thing is fucked up, so it tells you a lot about FP Stinger. Because it just has so many applications that you can use it for. You can use it in the barre, use it to extend pressure, to make balls go over the screen. As a full screen option, it's really good because you can re-hit it and then kind of use that to approach. It really is like sort of like I just won neutral, and not in an unsimilar way as Stinger YRC was. Personally, I think FP Stinger is better than Stinger YRC. Solely because of what it does, and it's just one input. Whereas with Stinger YRC, you have to do the Stinger and then the YRC as well, and have enough room to do it. So if you're like this close trying to do Stinger YRC, you're going to miss it. Or rather, you're not going to get it. But if you're this close doing FP Stinger, it comes out. It'll always come out. The other thing to know about his Stingers is the FRC points. And it's particularly noteworthy because there's 2 different timings for him. Let's see if I can not fuck it up. Please. I was afraid this would happen. So the S Stinger is a fixed timing. It's more or less fixed timing. It'll usually be at whatever that timing is for it. I'm under pressure right now to do it for a stream, so I'm kind of not getting it a lot. But it's more or less the same always. Doesn't matter the distance, doesn't matter if you're over here or over here, wherever you do it. It'll always be that timing. There's probably some difference on hit and block, but not a whole lot. Actually, I don't think there is a difference on hit. Maybe on block. But on hit, it's pretty much the same. On block, it's mostly the same too. So Stinger FRC is a fixed timing. S Stinger YRC is a fixed timing. So slash Stinger, this one, the slower one. H Stinger is a different story. This one is really variable for the FRC timing. Up close, you gotta do it like right away. Farther away, you have to like lag a little bit more. It depends on when the ball goes into contact with the opponent. So it's very variable depending on your distance. And it varies from hit and block, just because the different ways it kind of pushes you. So H Stinger FRC is very variable, but it's like one of his essential FRCs to learn to be able to continue pressure and stuff. It's also the main one you're gonna be using the combo outside of Dubious Curve. Because like if you do something like this with F Stinger FRC, you can combo. But it's not something you're going to be really doing a lot. Whereas with H Stinger FRC, you can do a lot more. You can, if you're close enough, you can do 2S, 5H. If you're too far, like let's say you do it from like out here or something, that's like the most you're going to be able to get because it's just like the way the block stun is, or this stun is. You can do something like that off of 2D. I'm actually surprised I got it on my first try, because that's actually really fucking hard. The 2D FRC stuff, 2D H Stinger FRC stuff are really... Don't worry about learning that at first, because it is genuinely really hard. You're going to want to learn how to dash buffer the FRC, which is doing forward, FRC, and then forward. Let me clear my inputs. So look at my input bar, it's forward, FRC, and then forward. I fucked it up. And you kind of get that instant dash out. That's really important for H Stinger, and it's something you're gonna It's gonna take you a while to learn, but it's pretty much essential to plus R Venom's like gameplay. You can operate without it to an extent, but you'll be really limiting yourself if you don't. And FP Stinger is the same as H, I think. I don't think it's really ever worth it to do, but it's the same timing as H. And that's pretty much everything for Stinger. Next up is Carcass Raid. So Carcass Raid is the last special move. Oh man, almost done. Oh, it's already been 2 hours. At least for the stream. Video is a little bit shorter. So, Carcass Raid. As Carcass Raid, still GOAT. Still fast recovery. Still good for doing pressure like that. Again, I'll reiterate again as same as Stinger because it is really important. There is 5 extra frames of charging that you have to do. And it's very vital that you get used to that because you'll just be whipping stuff all over the place. But otherwise, Carcasses are pretty much the same. One key difference I didn't actually learn until like the other day, as far as H Carcass goes. You can't have 2 H Carcasses on the screen at the same time. So whereas if you do like, please, if you do H Carcass into another one, normally that timing would work, and I've charged long enough where it should work. But because I did the H one already, I can't do another one till that one leaves the screen. Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm not gonna try it again. My brain's fried right now, but it won't allow you to get 2 on the screen at the same time, whereas S you can do. As you can see, as like on the top of the screen, I still do another one. But H1 I can't do. Why it's like that, I don't know, but it's like that. It's not really gonna affect you a whole lot. You can still do that, no problem. But as you just saw, so I was doing the same time for all of those, but because I was a little bit farther out, the ball didn't quite hit, I couldn't get that 3rd H Carcass, for example. So that'll come into play in like that sort of situation, where you're trying to do like a bunch in a row. And you maybe get pushed out for it. Or if they're like teching in the air in the corner and you're trying to just spam H Carcass at the tech trap, eventually there will come a point where, because they're so much higher in the air and you try to do it H Carcass, you're just not going to be able to do another one, because that one's still active. So it's an important thing to know. Another thing about H Carcass is if you're far enough, you can hit the ball. You can't really do it up close because you don't have enough time. And the only reason you can do that is because of the screen zoom out. The screen zooms out to the point where there's enough like travel time on the screen for it to do that. So for this one, can't get. But because you see there's so much more zoomed out over here. Oh, I missed it. You can get it like that. And depending on how you use H Carcass, like sometimes like you try to do over here, just kind of mess up timing. If you do over here and you see I'm not doing anything, and you can just use the approach like that. So it's situationally useful, but I found it to be useful over the amount of time I've played. No FRCs on either Carcass. There is Force Spray Carcass though, which is like that. And it travels, if you leave it uninterrupted, it travels about 60% of the screen. And by then, it'll bounce out. Let me just go full on corner. Alright, so this is from the corner. So that's, you see that's already past half screen that it traveled without being getting interrupted. You can also hit it, and because it's so much more lenient and it stays up so much longer, it's more practical to do that with this ball than it is with H. So that's a good use for it. Or another really simple use for it, honestly, is like kind of like as a meaty. If you want to be really lazy with your Oki, you can really just do that and repeat it as long as you have it. I don't really recommend doing it all that much, but you can do it sometimes. And I'll pretty much hit meaty every time. The last thing with FP Carcass that's noteworthy is the way it's balls. You've all seen the clip, I'm sure, of the million balls getting hit. I don't have it with me right now, but I'm not like practicing doing it either. Is this one? But like you see like that, if you there's a certain pattern you can do it where the balls kind of like can just literally, in the most literal sense. Well, I guess litter the screen. I didn't think that went through. But it'll litter the screen, and the balls will just stay out for a really long time. There's a sequence to it. I don't know it, but it is a way you can use it. Let me see if I can try to do it. Yeah, it's something like that where the balls stay on the screen and they can just bounce around for a really long time. So that's something. It's gimmicky, but it's funny, and it actually is something you can do if you set it up. Like you'll see match videos of like Fino or something doing it. He doesn't do it very often, but he has done it, and it's not like not viable. Yeah, that covers Carcass. Mostly the same. FP Carcass is really good. So that's all its special moves. Let's see. Let's oops. Last thing I'm gonna show off before supers is dead angle. What am I doing? Alright. It sends them flying across the screen like that. Whereas an Xrd, it kind of brings them to like this range. So it's really, really strong dead angle. And it sends them way flying across the screen. If they're close to the corner and they do it, it wall splats and you can get a knockdown off it. Because in this game, you can calm off dead angles. So if you do it close to the corner, do something like that, and you get like an actual combo off it. Really, really good dead angle in this game. Alrighty, so our last section I got is supers. So I'm going to go over the 3 supers that he has, and then that's going to be it. So we're almost there. Thank you all for sticking around if you have been. I know I've been tripping up a lot, so apologize about that. So last thing are his supers. First and foremost, Dark Angel. It's pretty much the same Dark Angel. The really key difference is that input is reversed from Xrd. So in Xrd, it's that input, but in this game, it's the other way. 214, 236, S. They changed it in Xrd because it would overlap with QV if they kept it that way. So this way, it doesn't really overlap with anything. So that's why it's like this in this game. Still use it pretty much the same exact way. You can still do setups off of it. You can still do teleport steps off it too. You can still do stuff like that off of it. You just can't get like the really, really fucked up extra stuff just because QV and Stinger in that game enable it to be really fucked up. You can still get good mix-ups off it though. You'll generally not see it a whole lot for that purpose. If you like watch stuff, I think that hasn't really been explored all that well as far as mix-ups go, because those mix-ups are there. But most of the time, you'll not see Dark Angel outside of like ship situations. I also think it starts like a little bit further out than the Xrd one does, like just by a tad. Maybe not like a whole lot actually, but I think it feels like it starts a little bit farther, and maybe like it starts traveling faster a little bit sooner. That could just be like placebo effect. Otherwise, works the same. If you want to deafen your opponents, I have the volume turned down, but that thing is really fucking loud. So you can always do that. But yeah, otherwise the same. Next, Red Hail. Much worse off in this game. Same input. Oops. Does it more reliably keep them locked in block stun compared to X or Dark Angel? I feel like it's about the same. It's not apparently different, as far as I can tell. Because there's some weird spacing in there, so where they'll still block it a bit. Oh, yeah, you're right. I don't actually know. How can I set this up with a dummy? I'll do like this. Hey, pass on a good thing to do this on. It might be similar because it kind of does that bounce the same way, so they might be able to IP jump it if it's not like followed up with anything. So it might be the same in that sense. Pot's probably not a good example. I'm not gonna change his character, but it might be the same. And maybe not, because that does seem a little bit tighter than normally it would be. There's not as much of a gap on that. Let me try it again. It does seem more reliable, actually, than an Exert. So it's probably less prone to doing that. Maybe it's still at farther ranges, you probably can't force it to happen. But it definitely seems more reliable than an Exert. So I guess if you're using a mid-screen, it's more blockable. Yeah, that's what I think too. I think it does travel faster sooner. It's hard to tell though. I can't tell if it's just me or it's like the screen is weird because of it. It's like being up close, it looks like that, but like being up farther back, kind of looks normal, but also kind of looks a little bit faster. So to be honest, I'm not sure. It might just be placebo, to be honest. I think it takes a bit for the extra one to accelerate. Yeah, I think so too. Definitely seems like this one accelerates like just a tad faster. Which probably is why that enables it to be like a bit more of a true block string in the mid-screen, as opposed to Exert. So, good question. I guess it is a little bit faster. Alright, Red Hail. Does very poor damage. If you remember Exert before they buffed Red Hail, it's just that Red Hail. Really bad. The scaling on it is not really good at all. Even using it trying to use it in kill situations, you'll be surprised how often it doesn't kill. It has that old problem where like the balls way more wildly flip around. They're not as like it's not like more of a steady stream as it is as they fix it in Exert. Yeah, honestly, just overall way worse. You're only ever going to use it in the same manner as Exert. You're only ever going to use it for like kill, but what constitutes as a kill for Red Hail is like way lower in life than in Exert. So just keep that in mind. You're going to use it the same way, but in a combo it does way less damage. Like imagine that at Guts, right? So that's that. Last one to note, there's no Bishop in this game, but there is Tactical Arch. This is half circle back forward input, or Pop Buster if you're more familiar with that. 6, 3, 2, 1, 4, 6, and the button. And it'll get you 5 lightning balls on the screen at once. Or you do whatever you want. Does it work with D? And it works with the D formations too. So it's like the SD formation, and this is just the normal S formation. So it works the same as all those other ball sets, and it'll grant you 5 lightning balls like that. This super is probably the most underexplored thing about plus R Venom, because it seems really fucking just on paper it seems really fucking good, but you don't see it applied a lot. Like one of the more common things you'll see it is like in this situation, where you kind of like set up pressure like that. Like that's the S one, for example, is like the one I see the most. But you can definitely use it in that sense. Like if I just want to do this, I want to ship them out real quick, get all these balls flying up, you can use it like that. On its surface, it seems really good. I don't see it used all that often. You can definitely use it to set up some grimy shit, like in the corner. And yeah, it's just not, you don't really see a lot of it, but I'm not sure if that's because it's not as practical as it may seem, or it's just really underexplored. But if nothing else, it's really fucking cool. And it's really, if you want to try to kill someone real quick, just do that and get all that chip damage. And that's pretty much all the differences between Exert, Venom and plus R Venom. That took me about 2 hours. It's about as long as I thought it would. So I'm going to stop the recording. I'll keep the stream going. Yeah, thanks for sticking around. I know it's been a while.